Well, here we are again, back for another tutorial in the 24-hour, 24-day image creation marathon, which is brought to you by my company, Instagraphics, and that's where I teach you to create standout images quickly and easily on your iPhone, iPad, or computer. We're focusing on iPhone image creation in this marathon, and I am your host, Grace Taylor Siegel. I'd like to thank you for being here with me. We're all so busy now, and I just so appreciate your taking a few minutes to watch this tutorial, learn a little bit about the apps in my marathon. I'm honored that you're here. I'll do my best to make it of value to you. So let's get designing. We're going to be looking at the Mextures app. This is the image that I created with it, and this is a building. My husband's a cyclist, and he's in a lot of these. They're kind of like marathons. They're not really races, but the cyclists can ride for up to 100 miles in one day. That seems so incredible when he first started a couple of years ago, but now he's done like a dozen of them, so it's not as big of a deal. But I was killing time, and I saw this beautiful building, and I took a photo of it. And when I was putting together the images for this marathon, I thought this was so pretty that, maybe I could do something with it. We'll open the app in just a second. I just want to mention that all the apps I'm demonstrating are for the iPhone. Most are also for the iPad. They're available in the Apple App Store. And I'm sorry, Android users, I will be incorporating information for you at some point in the future, but for now I am focusing on the apps and programs that I'm familiar with, which are for the Apple devices. And one other thing, before we get started with the demo, I want to remind you that because of the way I'm recording these videos, you can't see my fingers on the screen. You can only see the actions that occur as a result of my touching the screen and manipulating the app with my fingers. I'll be adding some callouts to the final video, the one you're watching now. That's kind of like a pointer that will show you either where I'm touching or highlight an area. I'll also try to explain thoroughly what I'm doing, but I just want you to please keep in mind, it's my fingers touching the screen of the phone that makes everything happen, and that's the way it will work for you too when you try this out. So let's get started. Mextures, again, is the name of the app, and this app is really incredible. There's a lot going on in here, and I think it would be a great tool to have in your arsenal because it does so many things. It applies film grain, textures, light leaks, gradients to your image in seconds, and no app is faster according to the Mextures people who've made the app. They have a revolutionary, non-destructive workflow so you can make changes at any time during the editing process, fine-tune the edits, and they've included over 200 formulas for easy one-click editing created by top iPhone photographers. And that is something that really appealed to me. There are 130 original textures, tons of analog light leaks, gritty and grainy film textures, dusty vintage film scans, tasteful grunge, on and on and on. What I really loved and attracted me to this app was the idea that there are these 200 formulas put together by top iPhone photographers. So you'll see how cool this thing is. All right, so I need to find my photo, and let's go down to the working files, and there's my building. You can see it's not that great. Now, right off the bat, it's going to ask you, you can see the bottom, cancel, don't crop. Well, if you've taken my other videos, you know that I always crop square unless I'm designing for a certain, you know, area that needs a certain project that needs a different configuration. I like the square because it works on Instagram and it will work everywhere else. All right, so you did the crop. There's two areas here. There's textures. So there's all of these groups. Many favorites, radiance, grit and grain, light leaks 2, emulsion, grunge, landscape, enhance, and then that bottom one is vintage gradients. That one sounds really neat. I'm going to go over to the formulas because, as I said, that's what really drew me to Mextures. Now, I believe I used a spring formula. And the thing about Mextures is that you can make your own formulas as well. You can just play with this thing forever. Now, as I recall, my image was very rainbowy, but I don't know if it was that rainbowy. So let's get out of here. Oh, well, that's fine. It kicked me out. No problem. We'll just go back to the working file and we will select the building again and we'll quick crop that. Alrighty, so let's go back to the formulas so I can see summer formula. That kind of looks like it. Now I'm thinking, you know, it's hard for me to remember everything that I did with these apps. There we go. I think I used a couple of formulas, which you can do. You can do. Let's try it. Let's try it out. So that I like. That looks familiar. So we're going to say, okay, we added that formula. And now you can add some layers. I believe I just selected all of those layers. Let's see what happens. Wow. And then I fine-tuned. You can do adjustments. Yeah, here we go. And these are just different filters. It's looking like the picture now, isn't it? Oh, so pretty. So many of them. Just so pretty. You know, these filters, they're in every app. I think some filters are much more remarkable than others. There are apps, and there are apps that I'm going to show you that just, I just think that their filters are quite different than, you know, the run-of-the-mill. This is my image, so you can play around with it some more. You can fool around with the temperature, the contrast. I don't like what I did. I want to take that out a bit. The tint. I don't want it to be green like that. That lightens it out a bit. Takes the exposure up and down. And then those are the original film filters that I used. I'm happy with this. You can see where you could play with this forever. Now I'm going to hit the upper right hand corner, that box with an arrow. You know what that means. And yes, we're going to save or share it or open it with a different app. An interesting option there on the very bottom, right above cancel, save current formula. You know what? I'm going to do that because I liked it. So I'm just going to put 24 in there because I'll know what that means. The formula was saved. I don't think the image was saved yet. So I'm going to go back in there and I'm going to save it to my photo library. Now one other thing, let's check and see what the open with options are. It's pretty much standard. Sometimes they're different. I just like to check it out and see exactly what they offer you. I want to see what the share is like. Pretty much, as I call them, the usual suspects. I think you've heard me say that. All right, so there's my image. I'm quite happy with it. So if you press the X, it's going to start over and you're going to pick a new image. Now, I could sit here for an hour and go through different images and different filters and textures because, as I mentioned, there are a lot of them. There really are. Now, this app, it's another good deal. It's $1.99. There are no in-app purchases, so you're going to get everything they've got to give in the basic app for $1.99. So we've only touched the surface of Mextures because it would just take a really long time, longer than we have, to go into all of the things that it can do. But I encourage you to get a hold of this one and spend some time with it and develop some formulas that you love. And you can go back to them all the time. You can develop a brand filter that you've concocted yourself. I love that idea. So we have scratched the surface of Mextures, and hopefully you learned a little bit about it and now have familiarity with it, and maybe you'll get a copy of it and have some fun with it and create some unforgettable standout images for your social media, your blog, and your friends. So I just want to remind you, there is a free PDF download info sheet on this app, Mextures, and all of the apps in the Image Creation Marathon. It's all on my website. Just visit instagraphics.biz/marathon. That's going to take you right into the marathon area. And if you click on the link to the Image Creation Marathon page, then you're going to see all of the images as well as the video links to all of the tutorials as they become available. Also, come and join my Facebook group. The link to join is on the marathon page of the website, so just go there, or you can sign up for my email list at the top of any page of my website at instagraphics.biz, and I'll send you an email if you do that, and it'll have links and all the details. I also want to mention I'm going to be running a contest, and the prize is every app in the marathon. So I'll be announcing the details of that very soon. So sign up someplace so that you don't miss that. Thanks again for being here. It's been really fun again, and I've enjoyed spending time with you and showing you this amazing app, Mextures. So I will see you tomorrow for image number 7. Image number 7. And we'll be looking at the app Tangent. So long for now. Make it a great day.